Hi, I'm Derek Fahey. I'm a registered patent attorney and trademark attorney here at the Plus IP firm. And this is going to be a brief video on things you should consider when you're selecting your new brand name. So first off, I always tell clients that try to select a name that you can actually register with a government agency. For example, in the United States, words that can be registered have two main benefits. For example, if you're able to get a registered trademark or service mark, you're able to use that brand as a sword, stopping other people from using the brand name, or as a shield, so that somebody can't come and tell you that you can no longer use your name. And it's very helpful in that respect if you have a registered trademark. The second thing you want to consider is the strength of the trademark. Some trademarks are stronger than others. For example, there is actually what's known as a spectrum of distinctiveness, and the spectrum of distinctiveness has strong trademarks on this side over here and weak trademarks all the way over here. And strong trademarks are words that are fanciful or arbitrary. Fanciful trademarks are words that are just totally made up. For example, Xerox is a totally made up word. It's a very strong trademark. On the same side of the spectrum, strong trademark. Arbitrary trademarks, for example, Apple for computers. The word Apple has nothing to do with a phone. It's a piece of fruit. Very strong trademark. In the middle of the spectrum are words that are considered suggestive, or that would maybe somehow create some sort of relation with that term. For example, copper tone suntan lotion. You probably can get what copper tone is getting at, but it's considered suggestive because you don't immediately convey the meaning of what the product or goods or service is or does. On the weak side of the spectrum, words that are merely descriptive or describe the goods and services that you're actually selling, and also words that are generic, just commonly used for the term. So obviously, if you're selling energy drinks and your brand name is energy drink, you're not going to be able to protect the part of the brand energy drink. So you want to try to include at least one word that is on the strong side of the spectrum. It's very helpful. That's the first thing I would think about. Think of what kind of mark would be considered a strong word. So you'd want to use that. To do that, you want to select words that are fanciful or made up or arbitrary and have nothing to do with the goods or services that you're providing. For example, Apple fruit for computers, a strong word. You want to avoid only using words that are descriptive. If you're selling energy drinks and you're calling yourself energy drink supplements, that's going to be a very weak mark and you're not going to be able to protect it. So try to include at least one word that's not descriptive. Also, try to avoid only using your surnames. Words that are primarily surnames are not protectable. For example, my last name Fahey, you can't protect it over a long period of time, but it takes some time to get there. So last names and surnames that are primarily a surname, you may want to avoid those if that's the only part of the brand that you're going to be using as your brand. Lastly, acronyms can eventually become strong marks, and they are somewhat distinctive, but they're hard to remember. Acronyms are somewhat hard to remember. So IBM, UPS, they are very strong marks, but they've pumped millions of dollars into the brand. So those are some things you should consider. And lastly, honestly, most importantly, you want to make sure your mark is not going to conflict with an already registered brand. There's two kind of main reasons for that. The first reason is because if you're developing a new brand, you don't want to be confused with another brand that may not be as good as yours. That's actually an issue. Also, legally speaking, if your mark is actually causing consumer confusion, you could actually be committing trademark infringement against another brand, which is a huge legal risk. Lawsuits are expensive. So you want to try to avoid brand names of other brands because it could cause consumer confusion. Typically, in order to do that, you need to have a trademark clearance search completed. At our firm, we perform those searches for clients, and we actually provide a report explaining them what confusion could actually cause, or whether or not the brand can be registered. And also, we give you analysis in the report about things to consider and your probability of you being able to register your brand. So I highly recommend a trademark clearance search. In fact, we always recommend it every single time someone comes into our office. We also tell the clients to do some Google searching before they retain us to do those searches, because why pay us if you can already just knock out a couple names before you even come into us? But we highly recommend the clearance searches. It's super important to do. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this brief video, and hopefully you find it helpful, and have a great day.